Alright, so what is up, guys? So this is the next day here, and so last time I believe we touched up on how there was play in the motor, and as you can hear that, it's definitely not supposed to sound like that. So what I'm gonna do is try to determine if it's the pistons hitting that, piston slap, or the crank bearing. So I'm gonna pull this manifold off and see what I can see. Alright, so we just got this manifold pulled off, and if I'm the pistons, I don't know if you can see that, but you can definitely hear it. They definitely have some slop in them, which is really weird because it ran just fine and I didn't hear any piston slop or anything, but both of the pistons have really bad play in them, so it might just be the wrist pin bearings, or I'm not sure, but we're probably gonna pull this head off now, then pull the cylinder off, and then just check everything out and see exactly what it is. So let's do that. Alright, so now that we got these nuts all loosened by hand, now we can just use the impact, just take them off, make it a little faster. Let's do it. Alright, so now that we got the all these head nuts taken off, now we're just gonna give this a tap with a mallet, and hopefully it pops off. Alright, so we just got the head off. Cylinder walls are pretty beat up. Yeah, pretty scored. Head looks awesome. Nothing really wrong with it. It's aftermarket, so flows a lot more water, disperses the heat a little better, whatnot. So now we're gonna probably try to take this cylinder off, and just a couple more whacks with the mallet, and it should come right off. Alright, so as you can see here, we got the cylinder taken off. If you look in there, oh yeah, pretty beat up. Other side, yeah, this thing's pretty beat up. Pistons look alright. I mean, there's obviously scoring and stuff and all. This is just oil from touching it and whatnot. So yeah, there's a lot of play in these. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be that much. It definitely doesn't seem right. So now we're gonna probably take these pistons off and see if there's any play in the crank, and try to go from there. See what else we gotta fix. Alright, so the way to get these pistons off is there's a little circlip in there, and as you can see, it's open on one end, so you just have to stick a little screwdriver in there, and then just pry it out. Be careful because these things can go flying, so usually stuff a rag in here so it doesn't fall on the bottom end. We're probably going to take the bottom end apart anyways, but just to be safe. So let's do that. Alright, so we just got this first circlip out, so now we can just go ahead and push this rod out. This thing actually went flying and it actually ended up in my trash can, so that was pretty lucky. But yeah, definitely keep a hold of this, and now we'll just go ahead and push that connecting rod, or just whatever, out, and get this piston off. Alright, so this thing's being pretty troublesome. So we're going to take this 10mm socket, just stick it in the back of that piston like that, and it should push that out. So let's try that. Yo, what is up, guys? So we're back here the next day. So I accidentally lost some footage, and so basically what we did was we took off the two pistons, just with the little circlips, you know, and then you pull them through. And then, so we got the cylinder down there. And I started cleaning up all these gasket surfaces because I'm planning to throw it back together sometime soon. So as you can see here, there's that copper gasket. Surfaces look pretty good. So what I'm gonna do now is there's a bunch of trash that got down in the bottom end, and the bearings just feel like crap. So I actually have another crank over there with good bearings. So I plan to split this bottom end. So in order to do that, you have to obviously take off the starter, this engine mount, this plate, and the stator, and then you should be able to undo. If you do undo all that, then you should be able to split the bottom end. So yeah, let's get started with that. Alright, so we got these all those bolts undone for this case. So now we're just going to try to tap it off. Alright, so as you can see, everything looks pretty good. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. So now we're gonna remove this starter all the way. We already got one bolt done, so pretty simple. And then we'll go ahead and pull this flywheel. These things can be very tricky, but I have a good way to do it, and it should work every time. So let's see it. Alright, so now that we got the starter all the way the rest of the way out, now we can just start by pulling this nut, and then we'll stick the puller on there, see what happens. Alright, so we just got this lock nut, or lock washer. I'm not even supposed to sure if this is like what's supposed to be on there, but we got the nut off. Impact wouldn't do it, so we had to take this long ratchet. So this thing works pretty good. Just jammed a couple of rags down there to stop the crank from spinning. So now we're just gonna stick the puller on there and see what happens.